Okay, how's it going, everyone? So we're going to read some Karl Marx. This is Lockout versus Turnout. And it says abstract below it. This came out in the New York Daily Tribune, 1853. Let's go ahead and get into this. While the first cannon bullets have been exchanged in the war of the Russians against Europe, the first blood has been spilt in the war now raging in the manufacturing districts of capital against labor. On Friday night, a riot took place at Wigan, arising out of the contest between the colliers and the coal kings. On Saturday, the town was stated to be perfectly quiet, but today we are informed by electric telegraph that at the colliery of Lord Crawford, or of Earl Balcarres, an attack was made by the colliers, that the armed force was called out, that the soldiers fired, and that one of the workmen was killed. As I am to receive private information from the spot, I adjourn my report on this event. Thus, one by one, step by step, the industrial bourgeoisie have removed with their own hands all the carefully propagated delusions that could be conjured up at the hour of danger, in order to deter the indignation of the working classes from their real antagonistic and to direct it against the antagonists of the milocracy, against the landed aristocracy. In 1853, there have waned away the false pretenses on the part of the masters and the silly illusions on the part of the men. The war between those two classes has become unmitigated, undisguised, openly avowed, and plainly understood. Quote, the question, end quote, exclaimed the masters themselves in one of their recent manifestos, quote, is no longer one of the wages but one of mastership, end quote. The Manchester Liberals then have at last thrown off the lion's skin. What they pretend at is mastership for capital and slavery for labor. Lockout versus turnout is the great lawsuit now pending in the industrial districts, and bayonets are likely to give judgment in the case. A whole industrial army, more than 70,000 working men, are disbanded and cast upon the streets, to the mills closed at Preston and Wigan. There have been added those of the district of Backup, which includes the townships of Backup, Newchurch, Rawtenstall, Sharnford, and Stanford. At Burnley, the mills stopped last Friday. At Paddington on Saturday. At Accrington, the masters are contemplating a lockout. At Barry, where about 1,000 men are already out of work. The masters have given notice to their hands a lockout unless they discontinue their contributions to those out of work in their own town. And at Preston, and at Kinley. 3 large mills were closed on Saturday afternoon, and more than 1,000 additional persons thrown out of employment. While the hypocritical, phase-mongering, squint-eyed set of Manchester hambugs spoke peace to the Tsar at Edinburgh, they acted war with their own countrymen at Manchester. While they preached arbitration between Russia and Europe, they were rejecting scornfully all appeals to arbitration from their own fellow citizens. The workmen of Preston had carried in an open-air meeting the resolution that the delegates of the factory operatives recommend the mayor to call a public meeting of the manufacturers and the operatives to agree to an amicable settlement of the dispute now pending. But the masters do not want arbitration. What they pretend is dictation. While at the very moment of a European struggle, those Russian propagandists cry for reduction of the army. They are at the same time augmenting the army of civil war, the police force in Lancashire and Yorkshire. To the workmen, we can only say with the People's Paper, if they close all the mills of Lancashire, do you send delegates to Yorkshire and enlist the support of the gallant men of the West Riding? If the mills of the West Riding are closed, appeal to Nottingham and Derby, to Birmingham and Leicester, to Bristol, to Norwich, to Glasgow and Kidderminster, to Edinburgh and Ipswich. Further and further, wider and wider, extend your appeals and rally your class through every town and trade. If the employers choose to array all their order against you, do you array your entire class against them? If they will have the vast class struggle, let them have it, and we will abide the issue of that tremendous trial. Okay, yeah. So that is Lockout versus Turnout by Karl Marx in the New York Daily Tribune. 1853. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Medium. All of these are Marxist. Y'all have a great day. Dodara going.